Welcome back to Drunk on Writing. I just got back from what very well may be the best Marvel film since at least Thor Ragnarok. Captain Marvel was great. I just saw it in IMAX 2D, early showing, 7 o'clock showing. It was so good. And admittedly, I went in with pretty low expectations. The trailer does not do this movie justice. There's bad audio. There's bad looking CG. It is not a good trailer. It's not a good cut. It does not do this movie any favors. This movie is very, very good. It has heart. It has humor. Brie Larson as Captain Marvel she's so lovable. She is a perfect cross between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, but as a female. The way she smiles, the way she laughs, you love her within 2 scenes. She's perfectly cast as Captain Marvel in this film. And there's so much more to the film than that. I don't want to get into spoilers just now. I will save that for a little bit, just like I always do. What I want to say is, if you have any doubts about seeing Captain Marvel, if you think this is one that you should miss, or you are boycotting it for some asinine reason, such as it's led by the first female director, it stars the first titular female hero, do yourself a favor, go see this movie. It is so good. I will say this, it is a female empowering video, but it is more than that. It is a human empowering film. I will not say anything further regarding spoilers just yet. We'll save that for a minute. Right now, I will say that this episode is brought to you in part by Ariya Norinth. You too can become a sponsor of a video or a patron over at drunkonwriting.com, or just, watch any video that I have put up, including past reviews of Marvel films, including my controversial Avengers Infinity War video, which still gets so much love and support. Go watch that now at youtube.com/drunkonwriting. Now, I will say that in regard to Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, as some may know her, my history with the character is close to none. I never read her original 70s Miss Marvel run. I never read any of the other volumes after that. My first real exposure to her was probably in Secret Invasion. Probably it was when I really started to get her comics. I think that's really the only run I have of her. And then, of course, after the movie was announced, she was seemingly everywhere. I mean, you couldn't turn away without seeing her name. And they had the titular Captain Marvel series. She had always been Miss Marvel before that. She took over the Captain Marvel from the original Captain Marvel, of course. And then she led, Civil War II, which was she was just awful in that. Did her no favors. Did not like her. I have no real like of the character. But I don't really have a hatred of the character either. She's just like a bleh. She's a bleh of a Marvel character, right? She seemed forced on readers for the last couple of years. And now here we are with a movie that is, for me, somewhat of a blank slate. I went in there, again, as I said, with low expectations, came out surprisingly giddy and excited for the future for Avengers Endgame, which I have to say, Avengers Infinity War did not do for me, which is funny how that works out. So, that all said, let's dive into some spoilers. This will be your only warning. Spoilers begin now. I did not expect the Skrulls to be the surprise hit of the movie. Talos. My God, he was great. I've never had really any experience with the actor who played him. I had it pulled up. I didn't recognize him at all. Let's see. His name was not Stan Lee. By the way, the Stan Lee tribute at the beginning of the film, remarkable. Got practically a standing ovation in my movie theater. The way that they took all of his cameos from the Marvel film and ingrained that into the Marvel logo, that was beautiful. I hope they make that as like a screensaver or something. Do we even need screensavers anymore? I don't know. I hope that is somewhere. All right, that guy's name was Ben Mendelsohn. So, the name sounds familiar. His face doesn't look familiar. The things that come up, I've seen them. I don't think I could pick him out of a lineup. But he was great. All the surprise twists involving the Skrulls, some of them weren't very surprising, like the Agent Coulson little bit there. Okay, I call that one right away. It was acting too stiff. The S.H.I.E.L.D. director, yes, of course, he's going to be a Skrull. I was slightly disappointed that there were no Skrull cows, but the heartwarming family dynamic that the Skrulls were used for in this, that turned the Kree, that exposed the Kree, really, as the villains. I love that. I kept waiting for another twist. I kept waiting for that double backstab, right? For the Skrulls to turn around and screw Captain Marvel. Never happened. A little unfortunate, but I not unfortunate really, because I liked the way that it was handled. I liked the family dynamic. I liked that Talos wasn't actually going after the Power Core, which we'll get to in a second, but his family who was in hiding on the ship. Now, the Power Core, the Tesseract making another appearance. How did it get there? I think canonically, the previous appearance of it would have been in Captain America. It might have appeared in one of the shows, perhaps Agent Carter. But I think it. Did we see it in one of the other ones where Tony Stark's dad was working on it? That's possible. How it ended up in space, how it ended up in the hands of the Kree operative, I don't know. Could not explain that one for the life of me. But it did. It happened. And it was a nice little nod. And whenever the cat, the Flurkin, which I've never heard of a Flurkin before. I'm sure it's deep in Marvel lore, and somebody will comment and say, how have you never heard of the Flurkin? Yes, I've never heard of a Flurkin. When that cat just lashed out with his Cthulhu tentacles and swallowed it whole, that astounded me. I had Nick Fury's face on in that whole scene. That was just unbelievable. By the way, Nick Fury and Agent Coulson, Sam Jackson and Clark Gregg, they looked great in this film. The de-aging tech has come a long way. We're getting to the point now where actors can look whatever age you want them to look, and you will never be able to tell. You know, they'll be able to just have fake actors up there, just voiceovers, right? I mean, we're sort of there now, but there's still that little bit of an uncanny valley. The de-aging here, very good. There are only a couple times, specifically when they're smiling or when they're laughing, that you can tell that something's just a little off there. But none of that was as egregious as the CG toward the end. The Captain Marvel flying through space. It reminded me of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. The same kind of computer effects where he's crawling up the walls, looking down, and is moving along. Very similar wonkiness to it. The muscle movement, something was off there, and maybe it was the glowing aura around Captain Marvel, but it just did not look right. It was a very well done scene, which I can't really say about the kind of culminating scene of Carol versus the AI versus Annette Bening, right? That scene where she's standing up in like montage throughout the ages, and she fights the AI and she beats the AI. It lasted way too long. It felt awkward. Did not enjoy that part. Annette Bening, as a whole, I thought was really good, except for when she had her death scene, which it seemed like she was like phoning it in, like she was like, okay, I'm done with this now, right? Can I go home? Line delivery was pretty awful there. But I mean, the nostalgia factor alone in this movie, just seeing Blockbuster Video, seeing Carol pick up the right stuff, seeing the cat's name is Goose. I mean, if that is not an homage or a reference that will make you smile, I don't know what is. I mean, I could go on and on about this film, and I mean, just the end credits tag, the one that is straight up a scene out of Endgame. That was a great scene. Tonally completely different than everything we had just watched for the previous 2 hours, but a good scene nonetheless. The one gripe I really kind of had walking around is that's how Nick Fury lost his eye? Seriously? The friggin' cat? Although, the Skrull saying no when Nick Fury is like, that's just a scratch. Will the eye have tentacles coming out of it in the future? Did the cat give him a superpower? We've only seen his eye. I mean, we've seen his eye a couple times at this point, right? And it's pretty messed up looking. It doesn't have any tentacles coming out of it, though. But then the cat was able to disguise himself. He would just look like a cat. You never saw the tentacles. So, who knows? Who knows? Does Fury have a little Cthulhu living in his skull? I don't know. And as to Carol's de-aging, or not de-aging, her non-aging, is that a circumstance of traveling at light speed? Is that the reason that she hasn't aged? Is because she's constantly on the move, so maybe not as much time has passed for her as it has for Earth? You know, relativity, it's fun. You know, read The Forever War. It's a great book. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Maybe they'll explain it in Endgame. Maybe not. Maybe they'll just kind of skirt around it. But it seems like something that Banner would want to discuss and want to jump into. Seems like they would throw a little quip around, right? Anything else that I feel like talking about? I made notes throughout the film, as I always do. And this one I felt a little odd doing it. I felt like my wife kept looking at me like, what are you doing? What a question. Why did they let the costume change colors? Why would they allow that? It's the Kree colors are the green. And what was it? Green and silver. Why do they allow her to just be like, well, I'm going to make it neon. I'm going to make it all the different color choices that they had. That was a little odd. Like, what tailor would do that? The use of I'm Just a Girl, pretty egregious, as was the Air Force commercial that played. I don't know if it played at your screen, it played in my screen. The Air Force commercial that was all women trying to recruit the girls, getting excited for Captain Marvel. That was just egregious. That was unnecessary. It was just disgusting in a way. Like, don't recruit at a Marvel film. That is not cool. Keep your military crap away from my Marvel comics. Got it? Good. The cat, of course, was great. Checking out the Skrull penis, also great. Beating the old lady. Fantastic scene. The way that other people stopped her from beating her up, I loved that. Although I would have thought, this old woman's not really hurting. She's doing backflips and stuff. Maybe question that a little bit. I guess just because she looks old, you're not worrying about it. The way that they handled her origin, I think, was really well done as well. Where it became like this flashback in the midst of a Skrull torture. I thought that was handled very nicely. It wasn't, this through line where we see her through the ages and then get to the good stuff. It was good stuff. Then they mess with her mind. There's a little bit of like over narration from the Skrulls. I really liked how that was handled. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I will end with the spoilers there and say, if you have any thoughts on the movie, if you have any questions that the movie seemed to bring up, and I think it brought up a lot of questions. It's answered a few as well, maybe not to the effect that we would like, but it did nonetheless. Where is Goose today? Is Goose going to show up at Endgame? I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out. Is Goose still alive? What's the lifespan of a Flurkin? I don't know. Yeah, but if you have any questions or anything, please leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my kind of commentary and analysis of the spoilers of Captain Marvel, please subscribe to the channel. Please consider heading on over to drunkenwriting.com and signing up there. And, just enjoy the film. I will see you next time for Avengers Endgame, which I'm still not really looking forward to. This has me a bit more pumped up than Infinity War did, because Infinity War was just hot garbage. I have to watch that soon. That's gonna suck. Hopefully it is better than I remember. I don't know. Until next time, cheers and keep on riding.